switch.
Oh, I'm just trying to love you. Umbrella for the rain clouds. You won't hold me like you used to. Don't know what hurts now. Trying to hold on to a feeling.
Hi, my name is Adriel Smiley, listening to CJRU 1280 AM in Toronto. This is Intervals. We got Alex Bent and the Emptiness.
Yes.
The Emptiness is also here as well.
Yes.
Let's not forget about that.
Yeah.
Before we get to anything else, talking about your actual music, I love your merch.
Thanks.
Yeah, the Bent merch is just like it's all fire. So tell me about the first piece that you made, and then just how you kind of had the inspiration to make all these different tees that I see, and I see some hats.
Yeah.
A mask. Yeah, you got your merch is fire. So please talk about that a little bit.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I don't know. I have a friend who directs my videos, and he's I don't know, a pretty like blunt dude. And I don't know, I like sometimes I get like picked on for my last name growing up. Like sometimes people will make like little remarks, and then it would just kind of escape me, and I'd never thought to like market myself with that name, was as just like Bent.
Yeah.
So I asked him to design me a hat, and he just made like a Bent hat, and I was like, I'd never thought of that. And then just kind of kept making stuff, and then I don't know, to save money.
So he designs it mostly.
He designed like the first one, yeah, and then
Okay.
I've kind of just like rolled with it since, and and made similar logos and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. And then it's kind of developed into like going to Value Village and buying just like used stuff, and getting people to print on those and stuff. Just trying to be like reusing stuff too. So.
No. The merch is fire. Like, yeah, like no doubt about it. I saw your Instagram, and so I saw the merch before I started listening to the music.
Yeah. And
I was like, if the music is not fire, and this is the merch you're selling with it, it doesn't match.
Tight.
So I was like that. Yeah, the music has to be good. Talked about this a little bit off mic, but Tyler the Creator, Goblin, that kind of switching you over from being a metalhead to listening to hip hop and R&B, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Talk about, I guess, what song did you hear first from that album? Because again, like I was there. I remember when the album came out. That was like an explosion.
Yeah.
That was when I was in my F-rap type of vibe when that came out. Like what was the first song you heard from that album, and talk about what that album means to you?
Okay. I first heard that Earl Sweatshirt album and saw that video or whatever, and my friend showed me in high school in class, and because in that video they're taking a bunch of like substances and like pulling their teeth out and stuff, and
that was nuts. I remember that.
I was just like an impressionable kid, so I was like, this is real, this has to be real. And I was so shocked by it, and then I just kind of went down like the wormhole of like, who are these guys? I just don't understand it. And then I heard Yonkers, I guess, and I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I don't know, I just started kind of easing more into it, and that was kind of my, I guess, gateway.
Have you seen Tyler live?
I have, like probably 3 times.
Yeah, I've seen him 3 times too. He's
nice.
Yeah, he's the craziest mosh pit I've ever been. We were talking about shows earlier.
Yeah.
It was this lineup is never happening again. It was Vince Staples, Danny Brown,
Tyler
the Creator, and you saw that tour?
I went to Vancouver and saw that.
Yeah. So he's banned from Canada. People thought so. The whole lineup, we thought he wasn't coming to Toronto, and then the day of, he tweeted out, "Toronto, I'm gonna be there."
Oh, crazy!
So so everyone went nuts, and I was like maybe 5 feet away from him, but the mosh pit was nuts. There was girls like this tall, like pushing me full force.
Yeah.
My brother lost his watch. Like it was. He I don't think he's been to a concert since then, because I was so crazy that he's like, "Is this what concerts are like?"
Yeah.
And didn't want to go back. But yeah, Tyler is like insane live.
Yeah. No, I agree. I've never really been lucky enough. Actually, no, I was on the floor once, I guess, but I was kind of I'm a gentle person, so
I'm not with the mosh. After that, I was like, I got my fix. I don't need to be in this ever again.
Yeah, for sure.
Is Frank Ocean still your favorite artist? I know you said that a little while ago, but is he still your favorite artist, even though he hasn't put out music in quite some time?
I would say so. Yeah. I don't know. He's definitely like. Yeah, I would say he's my favorite. I'd lose touch from time to time because he's a pretty private dude and goes quiet.
For sure.
But I don't know. Like I'd say actually like. In terms of like how long a person's been my favorite artist, probably Slipknot's my favorite artist, I would say. But
yeah, Gabby loves that.
Tight. Okay, I hope so.
Damn. Talk about, I guess, mentioning Slipknot. You were a huge metalhead back in the day.
Yeah.
And going from playing the drums to leading a band.
Yeah.
You know, how was that transition? I know you before you were like, it was kind of a why not thing. Like, let me try and go on these musicals. Let me try and sing a little bit. Did you ever have a moment where like, yo, I'm really doing this? And when you were drumming, did you ever even like think about leading a band one day, or when your friend brought that to you, or that the first time you thought of it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I always kind of thought I could do it. Like when I was a little kid, I would always, if I was like playing or pretending that I was in a band, it was always I was pretending I was the singer or the leader, but I never really committed to it because it's like scary to sing. And the second you'd open your mouth and someone would enter the room, it's like, like you get too nervous to do anything.
Yeah.
So I don't know, just in high school, because you're like sheltered, I guess, and you can just kind of try new things, and if people don't like you, then at least it's only a couple hundred people don't like you.
Yeah, that's not as bad.
Yeah, so there's less risk, but I don't know. So I didn't really feel that crazy until maybe in the last few years when I actually started noticing people are really liking the music, and it's like I'm getting back what I'm giving into it, and I think it's really started to click then that
I see.
like I thought I was a drummer, and now this like the one thing that I'm kind of just started doing just kind of by fluke is now the most popular thing that I'm doing. So it's, I don't know if there's ever been really a moment where it's consciously been like scary to do it or to switch up or whatever, but yeah, so I don't know. It's kind of a gradual thing.
Yeah, and it's funny you said that you always pictured yourself as the leader when you would like, you know, do that when you were a kid and kind of play that you were in a band, because like seeing your videos and seeing like your personas, like I can't fully imagine you as a drummer, because I feel like you either need to have input into the band, like you'd have to be a part of the creative decisions, you know what I mean? Like, so I feel like you as a leader now kind of makes a whole lot more sense.
Sweet, thanks.
I love the name, Alex Band Emptiness. Now, apparently you went as Emptiness, like just on its own before.
Yeah.
I actually like that as well, but you're right, it does sound a little.
It's more metal, yeah.
Yeah. I guess like anyone who doesn't understand like the reason for that name, let's explain that quickly for anyone who's unsure.
Yeah, I think at the time I had the idea of like doing some sort of like anonymous like music project, I guess, and so I didn't really know maybe what I was doing. I was still kind of figuring it out, but I was into more like Nine Inch Nails or like darker kind of sounding stuff at the time. So I don't know, it just kind of started with that name, and it was more just, I guess, centered around, I found at the time I was writing more about things that maybe weren't happening to me that I wished were happening to me.
Oh, okay.
And so it was kind of more to represent like the void of like feeling empty and stuff. So it's more just like living out a fantasy through the music. So and then at a certain point I just switched because it didn't really sound like what the music sounded like, I guess.
Fair.
So I don't know. It's got a little creative with it.
Yeah. I do, as much as I do like the name, I agree with you that I don't think it fits.
Yeah.
What your music actually sounds like. So I think, you know, the name change was definitely good.
Cool. Yeah.
This is my favorite song by you, Wish Me Bad.
Tight.
Tell me about how you put that song together. Did you have kind of your chords first? Did you have the beat first? And then we're talking about your videos in a second, but the video for that I like a lot as well. But yeah, Wish Me Bad. How did that whole thing come together?
It was kind of unassuming, actually. I just kind of one day decided to make a beat, and because I just needed some more stuff for this album, and I started making that one, and it just came together really fast, and anyone I showed it to seemed to really like it, and that made me think about it a lot more. And for a while, like when I'll make stuff, it'll just be usually the first verse and the chorus, and then I'll get like nervous or like just bail and be like, I'll come back to it later and I'll finish it. And that's, I feel like a lot of times usually the second verse of whatever my song is gonna be super different from the first, because that's always written at like a
different time.
Yeah, totally different time. So yeah, it just kind of started like that, and I didn't really think much of it at the time. I wasn't sure if it would be like an album song or whatever, but yeah, and then it just kind of, once I got maybe a positive reception from it, and I actually had to sit down and finish it. But
has your process changed, like from, I guess, 2018, 2016, when you first started putting out music like on your own under this new alias, till maybe last year? Has your process remained sort of the same in the way you make music?
Kinda, yeah. I think in the beginning I didn't really know anyone else that made music like me. Like I just growing up doing the metal stuff, I didn't, when it came time to start doing this, I kind of just had to learn how to produce and do stuff like that, and which I didn't even necessarily want to do. Like I didn't necessarily want to learn how to produce. I liked writing songs and stuff, but I would rather work with someone, but I didn't have anybody to work with. So I just had to kind of learn myself, and from there I've just kind of kept doing it myself, and will work with other people from time to time. But I think the only thing that's really different between now and then is like, now that just being deeper into like industry stuff and like hearing what like expectations are, or what you should be doing, starts to kind of like creep in and then into my head a little bit, and starts like causing like writer's block type of stuff. Cause
that's interesting you say that. Like when I listen to your music or even watch your videos, I feel like you're totally opposite of that. Like if there was someone who I knew coming up in music and felt like they didn't know who they wanted to be, or would feel like writer's block, I would show them your stuff, because you're me example of me of like someone who's being themselves, being unique, and it's like you can't copy what Alex is doing because you're not Alex. Cool. You know what I mean? So it's interesting to hear you say that, because I would think of the opposite from seeing the art that you do. So
cool. Well, thanks. I think more so now, like this is more of like a more recent development, I would say, as opposed to before. I feel like maybe I was doing my own thing and wasn't as affected, but there's been a lot of like festivals and stuff we played in the last little while, and you hear some stuff and then it gets into your head.
Can't ignore it,
so it's tough, because then every time you sit down, you're like, oh, this is a good song, but is it that one big hit? So
that's like the worst like sentence. I hate that sentence when it's like, because it's like,
it's kind of like gaslighting in a way. Like it's
like Frank Ocean Nights. Like Nights is my favorite song from him. Yeah. And it's like, I could just imagine him playing that song for someone and them telling him, you can't do two different beats in the same song, or you can't do this, or you can't do this. And I'm like, there is no formula. That's how I look at it. I'm like, there is no formula. What is unique will always be unique until someone copies it. True. So, to me there's no formula. Yeah. Talk about your video team. Again, your videos are A1. I think videos are very important when it comes to making music. Talk about your video team, just working with them, and just kind of look at the stuff you guys put together. Sweet,
thanks. Gavin Baird is the name of the guy who directs my videos, and he has this production company, DVI, and they make. He's a really cool guy, and I feel like we have a lot of similarities, because like, for me, I'll work a job and try and save up to record an album, and he does that, but he saves up to try and shoot his own films. So he'll like save up a couple $1,000 and just book off a couple weeks and go out and film something that he just wrote. Damn. And then just like book out a local theater and just screen it for people, and it's just really cool, and it really inspires me. So we'll get together, and a lot of the time I'll just give him like free reign to do whatever, and because he usually has like, it's kind of like a Virgil Abloh, or like there's this Jim Joe graffiti artist that we really like, and they're very good at like just stating the obvious, but somehow you didn't even know it was the obvious. Okay. And he's really good at that. So I don't know, I usually just let him do his own thing, and he's kind of like tuned in a way that I'm not, but I know whatever he's gonna do, I'm gonna like. So
okay, you trust what he's gonna do.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Now on Vanilla Blue, you said I'm so vanilla.
Yes.
And you're so blue. Did someone really tell you that you're so vanilla? Did this really happen?
Not directly, no. But
not directly. So what was it like? It was like you're stale, or
yeah, kind of, yeah. Like, I don't know, just like being, I don't know. That song, I guess, is more about a breakup and kind of a relationship of people that are not syncing up in the right way. And in that case, it's more about this person's depressed and wants you to be depressed too, or hates where they are, hates their surroundings, and wants you to be miserable too, but you're not miserable.
We all know about those people.
Yeah, but in that case, it's more a reflection of how that person's making you feel in that time, because maybe you're not vanilla or basic. You might just be kind of just in a good spot, but because you're not complicated like them or whatever, it's. So that's kind of what it's about.
Okay. I feel that. This is the last one. So you're doing a show tonight. Yeah. School night at the Drake Hotel. Talk about, I guess, your experiences being. It's not your first time in Toronto, but what do you enjoy coming to the city that you don't get anywhere else?
There's this pho spot that I really like.
Okay.
Can't remember what it's called.
Big shout out to them.
Yeah. Yo, man. Yeah, you gotta go there. Yeah, that was fun. I don't know. There's a lot of good friends of ours that are here. Going to the Drake is fun too. Most of the time that we've been here, I've just kind of holed up and started just making music in whatever Airbnb we stay in. So
that's lit.
I kind of just like being in a new change of scenery, and then kind of getting to hide and just kind of reflect on whatever is going on around me, and then make music based off of that feeling. So I don't know. That's probably the thing I was looking forward to the most about being here this week.
Okay, that's a vibe. That's a vibe.
It's a really inspiring city. So
listen, you got that right for sure. For sure. I want to thank you so much for joining us. On Interval. This has been CJRU 1280 AM in Toronto.
Thank you.